Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the English Language Academy. We are going to be doing a listening lesson today, and today we're going to be listening to BBC Radio 4 again, because many of you liked the previous lesson I did. And what we're going to do is basically take out a few words from a brief 1-minute clip from BBC Radio 4. It's very current and very contemporary, so all the words are words you will be hearing in the news right now. Today's topic isn't that, let's say, very exciting. It's quite sad. It's about war, but nonetheless, it's language, and it's language that's being used in the news right now. So let's get straight into it. So here we have a list of 7 words and some idioms that are going to be featured and are going to come up in the clip we're just about to listen to. So before we listen to the clip, let's go through these words and sentences. So the first one we have here is put on a war footing. If someone is put on a war footing, it means that they're preparing intensely for a serious challenge. So for example, we can say they were put on a war footing after they were attacked. So this is an idiomatic expression. The next word we have is brutal, which is an adjective meaning extremely harsh, cruel or violent. The next one we have is to emerge. This is a verb, and it means to come out or become noticeable. If something emerges, it normally comes out at a slower pace and rate. So we could say, for example, it gradually emerged that he had taken all the money from the business. The next word we have is to massacre. It's a verb here, and this means to brutally, going back to the word we did, brutal. This is the adverb form of brutal. Brutally killed many people, indiscriminately. So if you massacre a people or somebody, it's normally not just one person, it's a group of people. And it means that you kill them indiscriminately. You do not discern or try to think about who the people are. You just blindly go in and massacre the entire people. I told you it wasn't going to be such a happy lesson, but it's a word, and we're hearing it in the news a lot right now, given the current conflict in Israel and Gaza. This is not a political lesson, so don't worry. The next word we have is rampage. This refers to a violent and uncontrollable behaviour or action. So we can say someone went on a rampage in the park, chopping down all the trees. So in this context, it's going to be used in the context of war. If an army goes on a rampage, they basically go through a scene or somewhere uncontrollably without really thinking about their behaviour. It's kind of this blind rage, we say in English. The next one, which is an idiom, to be caught off guard. This is a very, very great idiom to have in your word bank. So it means being surprised or unprepared for a situation. For example, if somebody was asked to do something suddenly, they could say, he totally caught me off guard. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. And finally, we have aeriel bombardment. Aerial means coming from the sky. This is from the similar word we get aeroplane and aircraft. It's all to do with things that are in the air. So aerial bombardment refers to the attack or bombing of targets from aircraft flying above ground. So bombardment is being assaulted with many, many different things at one time. So in this case, we're talking about aerial bombardment is referring to bombs, which is also in the word bombardment. But you could also say in English, he bombarded me with questions. So if someone came to you and started to ask you a lot of questions, you could say, well, they bombarded me with questions. We often see this in the media when they say the reporters went to Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift was bombarded with a lot of questions. So now what we're going to do is listen to the clip from BBC Radio 4, and I'm not going to stop it. I just want you to listen to the clip and listen out for the words we just went through. I just want you to listen out for put on a war footing, brutal, to emerge, massacre, rampage, to be caught off guard, and aeriel bombardment. Okay, so try to pick out these words, and it's a really good exercise for your listening. So I'm going to play it.
Good morning. Today, Israel has been put on a war footing after a brutal attack last weekend by Hamas militants who used motorbikes, bulldozers and paragliders to cross its southern border from Gaza. The full horror emerged in the days that followed. As many as 1,300 Israelis had been massacred in the Hamas rampage, in their homes, on the streets and at a music festival. Up to 150 people were taken hostage. It was the deadliest attack on the country since its foundation in 1948. Israel, which appeared to have been caught off guard by the attack, has now responded with heavy aerial bombardment of Gaza, which they say is targeting Hamas' huge network of tunnels.
So I hope you didn't find that too difficult, and I hope you managed to pick out some of the words we discussed earlier. Now what we're going to do now is do an exercise, a quick exercise. I want you to get a pen and paper, or you could do this without a pen and paper and just pause the video and look at the following blank spaces in the following sentences, and I want you to take the words in the yellow box and put them into the correct blank spaces. So pause the video now and just take a few minutes to read the sentences and put in the words from the yellow boxes. Okay, I hope that wasn't too difficult. I already conjugated all the words for you. Obviously, when you use these words yourself, you're going to have to conjugate the verb, whether it's a past, whether it's the present, or whether it's the future. For example, were they massacred in the past? Are they being massacred now? Are they massacring the people now? And so on. So let's read the sentences together. Number 1. Everyone attacked him in class, so he was put on a war footing. Everybody was attacking him in class, so he suddenly was put on a war footing. So this doesn't really necessarily have to do with war. We use this idiom in everyday English too. For example, they all bombarded me with very aggressive questions and I was put on a war footing. Number 2, her criticism was extremely brutal. She felt violated. So brutal doesn't necessarily have to be physical violence. It can be verbal violence. You can have a brutal criticism of a movie, for example. Number 3, today it emerged that Elon Musk will be taking over Twitter. So today it emerged, it came to notice and became public that Elon Musk will be taking over Twitter. Number 4, the army went into the village and massacred everyone. Number 5, the group went on a rampage through the city, destroying all the shops they could find. Number 6, when he was suddenly asked to present, he was caught off guard. So when he was suddenly asked to present, he was caught off guard. He wasn't prepared. His guard wasn't up. And finally, number 7, at present, the Russian army is continuing with its aerial bombardment of Kiev. So, for example, the aerial bombardment in Russia, where the planes are currently bombing the city of Kiev. What we're going to do now is we're going to listen to the 1-minute radio clip again, just to get the vocabulary in your head and to train your ear again. And it's always a good exercise that when you do listen to something on the radio, to take words out, try to play with them a bit, on your own and then re-listen to something, because that's the only way you're going to pick up words. And especially idioms. A lot of my students tell me we never hear idioms. And I'm saying, well, you never hear idioms because you don't know idioms. And idioms are very, very widely used in the media. So you will hear idioms you will see idioms in the print media, and you will see idioms, most certainly hear idioms on the news. So let's just listen to it one more time.
Good morning. Today, Israel has been put on a war footing after a brutal attack last weekend by Hamas militants who used motorbikes, bulldozers and paragliders to cross its southern border from Gaza. The full horror emerged in the days that followed. As many as 1,300 Israelis had been massacred in the Hamas rampage, in their homes, on the streets and at a music festival. Up to 150 people were taken hostage. It was the deadliest attack on the country since its foundation in 1948. Israel, which appeared to have been caught off guard by the attack, has now responded with heavy aeriel bombardment of Gaza, which they say is targeting Hamas' huge network of tunnels.
Okay, well, I hope on the second listening you managed to pick up those words very quickly. Now, I have some homework for you to do. It's up to you if you do it. You're a grown person, make your own decisions. But it would be great if you could write 7 sentences using the words below. So they're all the words that we've just done together now. And I want you to write 7 sentences. Maybe you want to share some of the sentences in the comments. Feel free to do that, and I'll try my best to check them all. And also just practice. Remember, practice makes perfect. So when you pick up on a new word or a new phrase or a new idiom, try to put it into practice by constructing your own sentence. So I hope that was helpful. It was a very quick and brief lesson. I hope you found it beneficial, and if you did, then please consider subscribing and comment. And if you want me to do more lessons similar to this, then please let me know. If you want me to do any other aspect of English, or you need some help with any other aspect of English, especially when it comes to IELTS or anything really, then please just let me know. Get in touch. And I love making these videos, and I love teaching you guys, and I hope that all of you, whatever you're doing with your English, I wish you all the best and all the success. Thank you for watching. Bye.